You have a role as an executive of Enable India, right? And you talk a lot about inclusivity and mental health. So, do you see that things have improved from where it was? And do you see a shift in these things?
So, been a very small majority when it comes to mental health. I'm talking completely from a disability perspective.
Yeah, yeah,
From a disability perspective, when I see that, like, I still see families, parents, a majority of them are still in the hey, she doesn't deserve it, or it's okay. They just need a basic education, and maybe as a parent, I'm able to give the food, clothes, and whatever she
basic.
wants, I will give, and they feel that is the best thing that they can do for the child. But a separate window of at least reflecting to their own as a parent or as a mother, as a father, uh, does this basic need keep them fulfilled? No. There
Hmm,
is something beyond that they add to
correct.
themselves, and they kind of end up assuming that the child deserves only so much. So I feel a part of generation are still in there, but at
Okay.
least the young parent have been a little more thoughtful in giving a sense of freedom to the child.
Welcome to yet another episode of Beyond Her Story on Wonder Woman Wednesday. I'm Sneha Pai, and today we have the privilege of talking to a remarkable woman who's not only breaking barriers but inspiring change. Meet Dhanya Ravi. She's India's Locomotor Disability Ambassador at Purple Fest 2023. She's known as the Glass Woman, but I prefer to call her the Unbreakable Glass Woman. Danya has received numerous state and national awards, spoken at TEDx and Josh Talk events, and actively contributed to disability sector for more than a decade. She has inspired countless individuals, and I can't wait to have this conversation with her. Danya, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sneha. Lovely to be part of this Wonder Woman session.
Thank you. Actually, we've met before too, and this is the second time you're being a part of Wonder Woman Wednesday. But it's not just this. You have actually contributed a lot to the growth of Wonder Woman Wednesday by sharing, so many inspiring profiles, and it's really been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sneha.
Yeah. So we'll start with the questions. Uh, so there is a journey of yours where you were feeling confined initially, and then embracing education with the help of your neighbor, right in the beginning. So can you tell a bit more about that?
To education, like when I'm just going back years back, and that point in time, we are, I'm from a very traditional, orthodox, typical family from Kerala, and my mother's moved down to Bangalore after a wedding, but things are still rooted in the traditional space and all of that. So then, as a, I'm like, one special person to the family all of a sudden, and they were aspiring to have a girl child, and when it comes with a lot of differences, they're going through a very different phase of life, and as a woman and or as a girl with disability and all of that, they were not too sure the importance of education. So that's
Mm,
when I had this blessing where my neighboring auntie came down and told my dad that she would like to teach me every day. And
right.
a friend of mine who was ready to share her school academic books every year as she passed on to the next. So in that sense, I was homeschooled till 10th, and
Okay.
my connection with my teacher, I would say, it actually changed my life a lot. As a, and even I would say my parents as well,
Yeah.
because they were not too sure. The lack of awareness is very, very, it's actually changing life. Once you
Yeah.
lot of things lose in your life when you're not aware about anything. So
Correct.
no, after the entry of Victoria Aunty in my journey, they understood how education can change a person, and how value it creates, and
Yeah.
the kind of light that you get to your life is different. So education is extremely important, and um, for me, my journey with Aunty, on a very personal note, it was more than academic books.
Yeah.
She by then, when she came into my life, she was in a very senior age, and she used to be very joyful. So I feel a lot I've inherited from her, in
Yeah.
terms of being joyful in life,
Yeah.
and seeing things, and a lot of things was beyond the books that I could learn from her. And
Yeah.
uh, yes, now when I look back, I really don't regret of not being going to school, because this one teacher was worth of 10 teachers and all of that. But there's another side to it, that yeah, and I was not being in the
Yeah.
inclusive classroom and being
Correct.
among the children. And even now I just don't know how the grades and the sessions and all of that
Correct.
in the school life, because I never been there. So I don't know what it is out there. So these are some things that has been, but that has not impacted my journey as such. Rather, it has always given me a sense of growth. And
Yeah.
at the workplace, when I look again, when I reflect, I see that homeschooling is nice, but the current homeschooling that we have is different from what I went through in the past. So
Okay.
there is a set of few things that differs, and
Yeah.
that still lacks a lot in my journey when I come to a very professional side. So when
Correct.
I just see that if I was in a mainstream school, maybe I could have contributed in a more quality way, right? Like I
Yeah.
could sense that here and there at my workplace. But apart from that, on a personal level, it has always like nurtured me and helped me to go beyond my education. I mean, school academic books.
Yeah, I think that's one very important that point that you spoke about, Danya, is education, right? I think that makes a lot of difference in the lives. And the second thing that you brought up is awareness. I think that is where is the main foundation which lacks for any of the issues that we see in the society. I think that because the awareness is not there, we see a lot of things happening, not happening, and causing a lot of
Yeah,
complications in life.
yeah. I think, even as a person with disability, I would say that education can actually change lives.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
we kind of be into a very confined zone. And because my journey, the person with disability journey is entirely different from the other part of siblings who are able, and or the person without disability. So
True.
keeping that in mind, having a family growing and all of that, I think education helps the person to think within the age and be more matured in handling a lot of emotional values and changes in our body system and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed completely, actually. uh, so did this your growing phase, did was that the reason for you, advocating for change and getting into the place where you are inspiring other people? Was it that?
I think it's a part of destiny, I would say. Actually, I'm a very accidental figure in the public place, because, maybe my innocence, I was like always into the four walls until my 20 years, and
Yeah.
uh, gradually I would like to be behind the screen, and very introvert, doesn't talk
Yeah.
much, and all of that, right? But destiny actually took me here so far. So I think this could be my purpose, and
Yeah.
in advocacy and awareness, or being just what we I am in the public space and all of that. And uh, this is one side of it, I would say, Sneha. The other
Yeah.
side of it is that as a person with disability, especially as a woman with disability, right? Like, as when we are in a teenage and all of that, like I've grown up like hearing questions like how life would be for
Yeah.
me after certain age, and uh, parents and a lot of things like that, right? And like how do I manage certain sensitivity and all
Mm.
these things as a
Correct.
person. So this has actually helped me be grow up more liberative, I would say. It was
Okay.
challenging, but I was like, hey, I think I need to work on myself, and
Yeah.
uh, how do I kind of deal with such situation, So
Yeah.
maybe um, the kind of questions that I've heard helped me to become who I am today in a very
Okay.
strong space, I would say. Dealing with such situations independently, and also now, complementing in the peer group as well, because I see down the line most of them go through same situations, and it is very important that you be more valued and be leading a dignified life. So
Yeah.
for that, there is something that has to be worked out. So typically, what happens is, just on a very normal way, I would say, as a when a child with disability is born in the family,
Yeah.
around 6 to 7 years, it is almost about hospitals, family
Correct.
expense, and all of that. And
Yeah.
then comes schooling at 8 years, which might go till 16 years and all of that. But after that, they're actually stuck. Like, I remember, like, last time when I met a girl with intellectual disability there, I asked her mom, ma'am, what is your thought after her 10th? And she said,
Mm.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so life just becomes a stop there for many persons at the age after a teenage. So just trying to get make a humble way of understanding that opportunities are there, and it is
Yeah.
all about how you create it and how you kind of work on it. So yes, it has helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And, situations and growing up, stigma, discrimination, all of
Yeah.
that I have faced a lot, and it has added on to be who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand perfectly what you're saying. But when these questions came to you, like to your mind also, right, when you saw how things were, how did you get that strength to handle it? I mean, I know that question sounds totally, you know, I'm just asking it, but then it must have been when you're going through it, right? That mindset should be totally different for you to overcome that. It's, I mean, for people it's not easy to overcome challenges, to figure out the answers to the questions that are thrown at you and all that, right? So how did you manage that, Danya?
So that is no one simple route or one simple answer to that. So
Yeah.
like I said, most at this age, we just be over there as a stop, and
Mm.
when we kind of be in the family and have a sense of burden, or maybe what next and all that, right? So it is, I feel, it is our responsibility to work on ourselves. And I am blessed with a very wonderful family where my parents and my siblings support me a lot, and but I never got a sense of direction from them. But
Yeah.
it is like when I worked on myself, and when I got connected with various people, across the globe, there is a sense of learning that I had. And then I started to find what is that I can do, or what is that
Yeah.
where I can work on. So these sense of questions that I ask to myself. So it's absolutely a willingness, that
Yeah.
whether you want to go there or you want to be here, it's a choice that you make. So
Mm.
it for me, while like answering to one of the questions that you asked is like, until 20 years I never had a wheelchair. I was on my bed and in the room, and people just come, talk, and go that side, and put out this question, and I kind of overheard,
Yeah.
your all this. It was like, wow, things are like this. And uh,
Yeah.
the world out there is different than what you see here, right? So,
Correct. Yeah.
understanding that, and there's a lot of learnings that has actually helped me, and it was not something, the strength that I gained is not something that has happened overnight. It
Yeah.
is a work of many years, and it is also surrendering certain of your thoughts and emotion to the
Yeah.
universe, and
Yeah.
asking the universe to work on me, and
Yeah.
it has actually helped me,
Yeah. I
especially
think that is, ye-
very young age. I've been with multiple hospitals and all of that. So, my maturity itself has changed. It was not the girl, like a young girl who kind of, at the age of 16, or maybe I've grown continuously with my parents more
yeah,
than playing with my friends. So
correct.
actually that set of maturity changes. The kind of
True.
environment that you give for a child is what it becomes later.
True. I think that is one important thing for everyone, actually, to decide within themselves on how they want to go towards the next step in their life, right? I think, and like I said, it's not easy. It's easy when people tell you that, yeah, I did this. And looking at you now, people might feel, yeah, she's come here and all that. But I think that strength you have within yourself, that is what has got you here, right? And that many people fail to see, I think, sometimes. But I think that's the most important thing for anyone, I would say. The Where you decide within yourself as to what you want and
Yeah,
what you want to where you want to go.
true.
Yeah. So you were born with OI, right? uh,
Yeah,
like,
Osteogenesis Imperfecta.
yeah, it's a little bit difficult for me to pronounce, Danya. Uh, and you have had multiple experiences, like we discussed before. Like, you've been a part of Josh Talks, you've spoken at TEDx, you've got awards. Like, how has this experience been? And I'm sure, this, seeing you, a lot of people would have definitely got inspired, right?
Sneha, I still don't know how I've been there. Now we see all these small children singing in reality shows, right? And
Yeah,
child really doesn't know where the singing, who the judges are, and all of
correct.
that, right? Similar
Yeah,
situation is mine. Maybe I stuck with the stage. I hit the stage at the age of 22 or 25, but
okay.
eventually, then I doesn't know the real value of being a TED speaker or a Josh talk and all of that. So, for me, as I said, every stage is something very, very new,
Yeah,
and I don't see that anything very prestigious until I complete it. Or everything is like it's a stage after all, and we are humans
correct.
speaking together and sharing stories. Sometimes a part of me used to think, was my pain is going to be someone's inspiration? Was this hard journey that is going to help someone? Where I
Yeah,
feel very bad about that reality. But there's another part of me which says that okay, maybe when you're vulnerable or anything of that sort, when it reaches to an outside world, maybe a person who's going through that similar situation might take it as a lesson for them to work
yeah,
on themselves and all of that. So it's a very mixed emotion when I kind of speak about myself, my journey, and all of that. So that's where I said that I accidentally came into the public place, but a part of
yeah,
me is very, very private. But now I embrace this space of mine because my peer group, and when I see people with different disabilities and different
correct.
conditions and health and all of that, um, I kind of feel that I'm able to give a sense of experience to them.
Yes,
That comes
yeah,
in my mind. Rather, if I would have taken back and sat and just let down more peace with my parents and all of that,
yeah,
uh, I wouldn't have been able to give the set of experience that I'm able to give now. So
yes,
it's a mixed
true.
emotion. The,
Yeah.
like we say, we have a day and night. It has the same to it.
Yeah. But I think even, if you've made a difference in the life of one person, I think that will, balance maybe a bit of what you've been feeling, right? At least one person's life has changed. I think that speaks a lot, actually.
Absolutely. Like I remember couple of days back, I got an audio message whom I really doesn't know where she said. So she was attending a community program, and
Okay.
part of the task and all of that, the mentor asked her, "Whom do you want to see, or who's that you kind of learn things from you
Yeah.
as a person when you grow up?" And she told my name, that
Wow.
she likes to see me at some point in time, and some of my life decisions or experiences
Yeah.
has helped her to navigate her journey. And she is someone whom I really doesn't know. So,
Yeah.
and she also comes from the peer group, so this keeps me feel so
Yeah.
grateful and
Yeah.
really happy to know such things. And
Mm.
yeah, so it's a very emotional space.
Yeah, I know. Uh, so now you have a role as an executive of Enable India, right? And you talk a lot about inclusivity and mental health. So do you see that things have improved from where it was? And do you see a shift in these things?
So been a very small majority when it comes to mental health. I'm talking completely from a disability perspective. And
Yeah, yeah,
from a disability perspective, when I see that, like, I still see families, parents, a majority of them are still in the hey, she doesn't deserve it, or it's okay. They just need a basic education. And maybe, as a parent, I'm able to give the food, clothes, and whatever she
basic.
wants, I will give. And they feel that is the best thing that they can do for the child. But a separate window of at least reflecting to their own, as a parent or as a mother, as a father, uh, does this basic need keep them fulfilled? No, there
Mm,
is something beyond that they add to
correct.
themselves, and they kind of end up assuming that the child deserves only so much. So I feel a part of generation are still in there, but at
Okay.
least the young parent have been a little more thoughtful in giving a sense of freedom to the child to
Mm,
decide what he or she wants, or maybe respecting the choices.
yeah,
So it is basically a generation that has changed, making a small change, I would say. And but still, mental health, mental well-being, in the community level, I think it has to reach more and more, because uh, it's not just the physical that a person with physical disability go through even a lot of
yeah, of
emotional
course.
barriers
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the time. So that part of it, maybe some a fear to touch that path, and
Mm,
maybe some find it very embarrassing to talk to the parents. And like I said, when there is a set of conversation that happens with the child and mom, then it's little more easier.
yeah,
Otherwise, as an young adult, I still get some queries from parents asking how do they kind of go through such situations. So
yeah,
there is still a lack of awareness, but I think slowly things are moving there. We are
yeah,
having more and more special educators. So
correct.
this will actually help to reach more people.
Yeah,
Uh, there is a change that's happening, but in a very slower way.
yeah, yeah. The shift is happening in small steps rather than when,
Yeah,
this is one of the things that should be taken up in a major sense.
yeah, yeah.
And like you said, the foundation or the first environment that the child grows in, I think that is where it all begins. And that is going to make a lot of difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of inclusivity, right? I mean, we still see lot of places, even wherever I've gone, there is nothing like a ramp in 90% of the places that you see. very few places have this, right? So is there something that can be done to increase this awareness, or like how is it that you think can go about?
So, stay up in a, I would say accessibility is one of the things that has changed a lot down the 4 to 5 years. More
Okay.
than mental health and giving importance about the rights and all of that, or at least this generational value system, or giving a sense of respect to the child and the parent. More than all this, accessibility is one thing that has changed faster than this process.
Okay. Okay.
I would say, but like you said, there is still a lot of places which is not accessible, especially in small towns.
Yeah.
Maybe in Bangalore we have a few places, but now when we go to different districts in Karnataka, small
Yeah.
town, no, not even
Okay.
a, a single place. Like I would say the majority of things, not like
Yeah.
at least a few, maybe a few are accessible, but most of it are not accessible at all. So one of the things that I feel is two things. One is from the government perspective, ensuring that, see, now after so much of march by the community,
Yeah.
I could see at least the current authorization given to the new buildings are
Yeah.
little more accessible. But
Hmm.
again, what happens is auditing doesn't happen. Like, have they done it properly? That set of
Correct.
auditing has not done and not going in a very accurate way. But
Okay.
the proposal of universal design has been kind of prioritized
Hmm.
in the new buildings and infrastructure, all of that. But now, what happens to the old places? Are they audited? No, it is not. So,
Yeah.
this is from the government side and all of that. But as a citizen, we all can work together by at least making a small batch of friends coming together and making their own area accessible. Maybe
Yeah.
a new a pharmacy in your area, or maybe a post office, or
Correct.
ATM center,
Yeah.
these
The
kind of,
basic things. Yeah.
essential centers can be made it accessible when some few neighbors join together, contribute, talk to the shopkeeper, and take permission and build a small set of ramp. Or it's not just the ramp, right? Like
Yeah.
what it means when a HI, a person with hearing impairment, comes, how do they
Good.
kind of convey? Or maybe when a person with vision impairment comes to
Yeah.
the, how do they kind of do? So many of these accessibility part is something that can be taken by young adults and also by the government, both. So it's about a mission that can be accomplished together,
Yeah.
and otherwise the time it consumes is huge. And now we know that when you're doing a ramp or any of these accessibility things, it is not just for person with disability, but maybe for you or for your father or your mother, it will benefit
Correct.
at some point in time.
Yeah.
So,
True.
so it's a space that how you create a home, it is the same thing that you do,
Correct.
social places.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think that is what, people have to start thinking along those lines. I think that is important. Only when they start thinking about it, like you said, at least start with your parents, and then maybe you'll get a sense of it. And then it becomes a bit more where you can, have these things, like you said, start it with your home itself.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that itself is important.
yeah, yeah.
So, Dhanya, you're also a founder trustee of Aasman Foundation Trust. Now, what initiatives are you leading here to empower the differently enabled community?
So Aasman Foundation trust was formed with the vision to assist persons with disability in any way. Like mostly mental health is a priority, and maybe educational support in whatever way we can connect with the universes. Basically, it serves as a platform of to connect bridges. And apart from that, yeah, we do some freedom project. We try to provide wheelchairs, or even trying to come with this ramp and accessibility things. So we're working on some of the project in that. It's a very silent work that we are doing for through Aasman, and
Okay.
just three friends of us, and to put out our social commitment, we do it on a very silent note. And yeah, we also like conduct couple of events, like the awareness and all of that. Couple of events that has already been on YouTube and all of that. And
Okay.
when we get some unique concepts, that's when we get gear up for events. But otherwise, on a very silent note, we've been contributing on a very slow pace with couple of the things that comes that we feel highly priority.
Yeah. So is it a part of that you of Asma you distribute the wheelchairs?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yeah.
powered wheelchairs, right? So it
Mainly, I
becomes
am looking out for powered wheelchair, but any mostly assistive or aids. But powered, but again, it comes with a lot of filtration. We has a team who's working on that, and where the idea is if a person is getting benefited with a powered wheelchair, that person should be able to do a livelihood through that. Uh,
yes, yeah,
that's the thing mostly we are looking out for. Like either they go out for work or maybe tailoring or anything
correct.
that comes
Yeah.
as a livelihood support.
So how are you reaching out, Dhanya? Like
We
how
don't
can
have
we
to reach
help?
out, we don't have to reach out to get beneficiaries. Maybe reaching out for sponsors is what is required, because
Okay,
reaching out where beneficiaries are there around, they reach out to us without we
okay,
calling. So that's never a challenge. But yeah,
okay,
challenge is always finding sponsors to it.
okay. So I think like we can leave any links that you want on the description of this so people can reach out and like if
Or maybe, I'll share their email ID
yeah,
and any support.
correct.
Like the idea where we even come from Asman is we are not going to put out the beneficiary's picture in social media by saying, hey, we are looking out to support this person. No, we
Yeah,
don't do
yeah,
that. Because I feel someone's unfortunate is not something to be
correct.
shared into
Yes.
social. So any serious person who comes with a heart to support, we share the story to them in person.
Yeah,
Absolutely, not on the
correct.
social media. So
Yeah.
anyone who's like ready to support in whatever way, they can absolutely open to that. And
Mm.
I'll just share the email ID. Yeah,
Yeah, please.
sure.
And okay, now coming to the important thing, like how do you balance your career and your mission to raise awareness? Must
Uh,
be very hectic, right?
it just happens. I was telling my manager the last day that many of us take personal leave, a casual leave for our own personal choices. But I think one of my majority of casual leaves goes for the sessions that I take
Mm.
that
Yeah,
happens, right? So yeah, but I'm very happy. They have also been very accommodative for what I am, and so I think my personal and for now, my personal and professional life is in the community development itself. So
yeah.
I'm happy for that space and
And I
really
think
good
it's in similar spaces, so it gives you a bit of
joy
this one.
and yeah, content.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, is there anything else that you would like to share, Dhanya, as a message for individuals who are going through, societal and cultural challenges, anything that they may be facing?
So I feel societal and culture challenges are there in every generation,
Yeah,
and maybe anyone who actually faces a strong insight is something they really need to work on themselves, because they are the change makers and they are the one who is going to break the patterns in the family. So it's important that you never give up and feel tired. You really meant and matters a lot.
yeah,
So just follow your dreams and work on it. And one of my main commitment to my life was that I will not hurt my body, physically and
yeah,
mentally. So that's one thing, a promise that I kept to myself, and this has helped me a lot in terms of dealing with any situations and people. So I think small commitment to yourself is very important to be a successful person. and break barriers. You're meant for that.
Yeah. I think very well said. Yeah. Uh, One last question, Danya. Like when we talk, we have inclusivity, we have accessibility, like you said, and mental health, right? I know all three are equally important, right? But what is it that I think you've covered this in a small way where you said mental health is important. But out of these three things, like if you say we have to focus on at least one thing to start with, where do you think that focus should be?
It's a combination, Sneha, I would say. Like it's a combination. But again, anything that is always a foundation, right? So, once you have the within us, your physical and mental well-being is set, then most
Yeah,
of things are sorted. So,
yeah,
I would say that is a first priority. But again, like you said, we in India, we have a lot of this culture and all these value system, and so that's where I said we need to be very grateful, and where we kind of work on ourselves, follow our dreams, and also ensuring we don't hurt our family and our people and all of that. So that comes with the physical and mental well-being. Like, why I
yeah,
precisely said this is because I see that most of them today, they are very scared what does my parent think, or since I'm very dependent on them, how do I do that? But
yeah,
I
yeah,
see how you can work on both ends, right? So, and also putting out your choices as a priority, because probably you're meant for that, right? So
correct.
it's very important, but also making sure how you can owe back to those who support you and who are part of your journey. But out of these three, first thing is always mental
Mm,
and physical
correct. Mm,
well-being, because once
yeah,
the health is sorted, most of the things are sorted in
correct.
life.
Yeah,
And
true.
accessibility, inclusion, all that leads to more growth.
Yeah,
If you want to see growth, then these factors adds there. So it's a combination of three, but
yeah.
probably physical and mental well-being.
Well-being. Yeah. Okay. I think got to learn a lot from you today. See, I always say, when we are in our own world, we have certain limitations on, we don't go and think about how others are doing or what they must be going through in our daily lives, because, each person is doing, is sucked up in their own life, like I say. We don't think about all aspects of life that we see now. Uh, we just hear things and then we forget and we go about our daily lives. But I think if even few people are able to create a bit of shift, right, in small ways, I think that itself will make a lot of difference. And I think these kind of at least for me, these conversations are very, very, very important, Danya, because it makes me also feel grounded, because even I'm in my own world, to be very frank. uh, of course, I'm working for Wonder Woman Wednesday, women empowerment. But then when I hear these things and when I talk to people like you, it makes me feel, what am I doing? There's so much for me to do. And it really makes me feel, uh, of course, grateful that I get an opportunity to talk to people like you. But then I have to now take this next step and see what difference can I make. So thank you, thanks a lot. But I'm not letting you go. We have some rapid fire questions, okay? Yeah. So, which is your favorite book, Tanya?
When breath becomes air.
I know you are very, what do you say? You read a lot of books, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
Yeah. Who's your role model?
me myself.
Wow. That's the best answer, to be very frank. The
So I
best
really
answer
feel
I've
that
heard.
if we have another role model, most of us get influenced by them, and our own identity or character doesn't be there, right? Like,
Yeah,
as I
correct.
said, that's the challenge when we have a different role models. But the moment when you kind of see yourself, the room for improvement is huge.
Yeah, true. Agreed.
Rather
That's
than
the
being
best answer,
angry.
I'm telling you. So, what is the top piece of advice that you have received?
So that I receive every day.
No, I'm sure you might be giving out, but is there anything which you have received, which created a shift in you or something like that? Has there ever been like any advice that you have received?
So far, no. Like,
Okay.
mostly the kind of advices that I get, hey, be a good girl, do that, don't go there, don't be here. These are the kind of things that I've grown up with most, and I've never been following that. So
Yeah,
that doesn't make So yeah,
yeah,
but I'm very happy with the mentors that I have in my life, where
yeah,
they kind of like keeps me and very safe. Like when I as a person go low, like I have this uncle mentors of mine who actually comes back and tell, hey, be there, let's wait
yeah,
and see. That keeps me grounded. So that keeps me feel more safe. Yeah.
yeah. So, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Morning.
Morning. Okay. Uh, what is your favorite hobby or pastime?
Watching movies, sleeping, reading. Yeah, mostly
Yeah,
watching. I love to watch movies.
movies. Yeah, nice. One word that describes you the best.
Uh, I don't know. Just say, let the viewers decide what describes me.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think, yeah,
Agni.
I think watching you, there are a lot of words that will come to their
Let it
mind for
come.
sure.
Let it come as a comments.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Dhanya, I think we have covered most of it. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Nothing much. Enjoy this life and feel it as a gift. Hold it
Yeah.
very safe and be the light to yourself and to others.
And I
Thank you.
think you are a example of this because I have seen you, met you, and I've actually admired the way you carry yourself. And I'm very happy that I know you. And I'm
Thank
very
you. It's the
privileged.
same thing. It's the same. It's the same. And I also love the way of you host the sessions and the kind of content that you put out. Like many people, when they ask for my profile or some interview of mine, I take this Wonder Woman PDF and send it to them because it
Yeah.
has been so clear and very, very informative about sharing very authentic stories, right? So even the way how you are is absolutely nice. And wishing you capture more and more real stories of women.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tanya. And you, like I said, you've been one of the important part of Wonder Woman Wednesday, where you've not just shared your story, but you've connected me to wonderful women out there. And I think I always say, see, Wonder Woman Wednesday would not be what it is if women don't participate in it, right? And that's an important part for us. So thank you once again, and it's really been a amazing conversation as always. And yeah, thank you so much and all the best, Danya.
Thank you, Amar. Thank you, Sneha.
We are sure you've been inspired by Danya's journey. And we'll leave the links for her Aasman Foundation and the other details so that you can reach out and be a part of this movement that Danya is trying to create for mental well being, for inclusivity, and for accessibility. Please subscribe, like, and share this episode so that it gets better reach. And we'll be back with more empowering stories on Wonder Woman Wednesday. Stay tuned.